Okay, going back, Ohio State game, just reviewing that quickly. Good effort, but fell short again. We played, pretty hard, 60 minutes in, give and take a little. Showed good in all phases, but if you go back and look at it too, we're still, you saw it last night's Monday night game where, team's looking good one half, another team looking good the next half. We're, like a lot of teams, it's easy to be inconsistent offensively. You can say you did well, but we had 7 3-and-outs and 8 drop passes. A drop pass is kind of a wasted play. You got a bunch of guys working clean, you deliver it right, you make the right read, and we're human, we're going to make mistakes, but typically a drop pass is a quick recipe to get the punt team out there. I think a couple of years ago we did a study. I think 19% of the time when we had a drop pass, we got a first down. So basically 4 out of 5 times you punt it when it was a drop pass. So it's not a good formula. So, the drop passes, the 7 3-and-outs weren't good. Defensively, you give up 550 yards, 350 rushing, 52 points. So not good on that side as well. And then we have a blocked punt for a touchdown. So same time we made plays in all phases. We had, some negative plays, some sacks, a turnover in the end zone. We forced them to kick a field goal. They miss. We did have some big plays and scored some points. We did have an onside kick and a punt block on our end. So there's a little bit of give and take, but once again, we're on the short end. Players of the game, offense was Stephen Houston, Peyton Eckerd. Had several guys in the line do decent. We recognized Peyton. Defensively, Greg Heben was really good, and he really played a different position. We moved him from our nickel position to safety, and he had been at nickel, from day one of preseason camp. So in 1 week's notice, he's playing a different spot. And to play at a high level and get a championship performance was nice, or winning performance. Special teams, Stoner and Roundtree were recognized, especially because of the 2 big plays that created 14 points for the offense. Defensive scout team, players of the week were Darian Fuller and Lenny Himes. And on offense, Andrew Wilson and Anthony Davis. Anthony did a good job. He was playing quarterback for us last week, trying to emulate the great player they had. Now this week we're on the Navy, halfway through the season. We're 2-4, which is not what we need. We've got 6 remaining, 4 on the road. We got a tough opponent this week, and we got to play it on the road. And we're going to be on the road and have some success on the road if we want to, etch our way up the mountain and gain some goals. So we've got to be a tough team and do what it takes to win on the road. This team's very difficult. Everybody talks about their option and the wishbone, but they really just are difficult because how they put it all together. They're playing an option-style attack that everybody talks about. They run it reasonably well, like all those teams do. It's hard to prepare for it. It's hard to do. It's hard to get your scout team to do it as fast as you're going to see it. They play a 3-man true 50, cover 2 defense. Very few people play anymore, so that's unusual. So targeting who's got who in protections and run game that can easily pressure you off of both sides. They can drop 8 people and rush 3 and make your passing window small. Their punter's outstanding. They're good in the kick game. But again, for us, we got to keep pushing. We're on a little losing deal here that we need to get past that, because losing is not what we want to do. So we're making strides, like we keep saying, but it's making strides with performance and production. And even though we're making strides, apparently it's not enough. So we're challenging our guys to, whether you're a starter, whether you're a backup, we got to dig a little deeper, practice a little bit better, be committed a little bit better, because we just got to play a little bit better each week to find some W's down the stretch. And this will be a tough one to get, but we need to go get it. So, questions?
Do you think the fact that you have focused so much on Navy, since going back to spring, ensures that this isn't a game where guys are going to be letting down a little bit because it's a non-conference game? You've had this circled on the calendar for some time.
Well, we need wins, so, I don't know if we don't circle or uncircle anyone. We're trying to get as many wins as we can. We haven't been winning a lot. It's a good question. We did talk a few weeks ago that we'd been working on the option how well we'd play against Northwestern, and you saw that too. So, we just have been committing time for assignment football, and their option's different than Northwestern. It's, a little bit more, not all the time. Now, they do break the bone and do some very unique and very good things and very difficult for you. But they truly make you go, the old school dive, quarterback pitch, old triple option. A lot of people do triple, which we saw some triple from Ohio State out of the gun Saturday. The one drive where they had 2 plays back-to-back to score was triple option out of shotgun. Northwestern was doing some of that as well, but it's a little bit different when it's that fast fullback. So. But again, for us, I was concerned last week when we come back and play hard after a lot of effort we put into playing well against Michigan State. Were we mature enough? I think we showed some signs of maturity. It still wasn't good enough, and now we got to do it again. I'm trying to get our guys past the point of, giving it the college try is not what we want to do. We give them scholarships. Most of the guys that I give scholarships to, we pay more scholarship money than the majority of people that work in the football program. Outside the upper level coaches and administrators, most of the support people from academics and medical, and we pay our athletes more than those guys. So we expect them to give a college try. We expect you to play hard. That's the given. Now, the deal is we got to start winning, and we got to figure out how to do that. That's the one thing we lack right now, is figuring out how to get that puppy done.
How much did the preparation you guys did in the spring and weekly on the wishbone, on the option, help this week? I mean, did you feel like you came in this with a pretty decent base of an understanding of that?
A little bit, but we were simple. These guys are in chapter 20. We were in chapter 1. We were elementary. Just, play one, base one, the base play of the game, but they can get to trap options and misdirections and broken bones and misdirection motions. And we didn't want it to be a waste of time for the offense. We just wanted to, talking to some other coaches that have played against it, when you talk to coaches, that the unique thing about Navy and Army is that they're not in a league. So an advantage they have, they play a team once or twice and then they never see them again. Now Air Force has been in a league, and BYU, TCU, those teams see them year after year after year. And in talking to those guys, they say that's, they're teams that work a little bit every day getting ready for their option because they know they're going to see it. So that's why we just, in visiting with them, Georgia Tech's running an option, but now that they see it every day in the ACC, it's a unique thing of an independent program. It's a unique offense, and you don't play someone maybe once or maybe home and home, then you don't see them. They play Navy a lot, or excuse me, Notre Dame a lot, but they typically kind of are free agents in their schedules, so that's an advantage for them. But again, we tried to introduce, so this week would not be as hard, but it's still going to be a difficult week.
You said visiting with people. I mean, did you actually kind of call people or even go visit?
I went and actually visited Air Force, not to defend it, like how do you run it? So we could have a clue of just how to run it. It's a pretty cool, beautiful place. That's why I know watching them for Navy to go win out there, it's a pretty good win. It's a pretty good team. It was a good win. That's a big game.
You've talked repeatedly about Stephen Houston and him getting to where he needed to be about this time last year. Are you seeing that from your defensive JUCO kids?
A little bit. Still need some more. We're getting a little bit more out of Tim Bennett and Tony. Those are two comparable to the timeline of Stephen because they came in the summer. They didn't get spring ball. The other guys got spring ball. But I think, in general, we're still a lot of guys have played, but we haven't played a lot. We need everybody to keep coming along. And those, the JC guys are gaining. But we need them. We got to keep. We're giving up 350 yards rushing. Those are a lot of Cam's playing well. But most of those guys are defensive guys, and you're giving up 550 and 350. We got to keep playing better and put them in better spots and keep learning, tackle better, and get guys to the ball. And we're gaining, but it's still a long way from what we want. So we got to keep working.
Stats and the points you gave up, what do you think that the defense did well last Saturday?
They were 50% on third down as far as getting them stopped. Or excuse me, they were 50%, which we didn't like. We want to get that down to, 2 out of 3 we're getting a stop. 3 out of 4 you're getting a stop. And we didn't. It's half-half, and that's not a good deal. We got 1 turnover, 2 red zone stops was good. Got them in some third down situations right before the half. The game got away right before the half, and we were playing uphill the whole second half with a third down conversion. We don't get a little competitive play across the middle, and we can't catch a ball. And then there's a block punt for a touchdown. The offense has a run for 7 and then another run for -3. Third down we don't get. We had 2 drives in a row. We had a run for -4 and a run for -3. And both drives we punted. Negative runs and drop passes are great formulas to put Don's favorite player, the punter, on the field. And we punted the ball. We get them 3rd and 9, and they run right by us on a go ball. And that's 24-14. And that's what kind of happened at the Nebraska game. It was kind of a pretty good game, and like about 3-4 minutes, then we kind of separated and say, hey, we're getting ready. And we had some issues last year right before half where we kind of sputtered around. That's why at the end of half we were trying to get it going, but we were trying to use clock a little bit. And when we kind of sputtered, we got out of the half without giving them the ball back. So defensively, and kids up front are playing hard, but 14 negative plays, 3 sacks. 2 red zone stops, turnover, took points off the board, gave us points. But still, we're just inconsistent there. And I can say the same thing about offense. We're sitting there with 7 3-and-outs. We can say, look at all these points you scored. Well, you had 7 3-and-outs. It's not very good. That's why your defense isn't good. When you put them back out, you put them back out. And so it's about conversions. We took care of the ball. That's nice, but we go 3-and-out. That's not. Had it down there again, kicked a couple field goals. Actually, one time we kicked a field goal because of a miscommunication of a play call from the sideline. And we didn't call the play properly and called it wrong and put our kids in a bad situation that led to a punt. So, it's coaches, players, all of us, and we're just close, but that's not good enough right now. So.
How do you practice to get ready for those cut blocks that Navy does?
We work on it every week. Because everyone cuts. The thing about them is pretty good. They have so many bodies that they can practice it all the time because they have 200. In a typical, and I'm not sure of Navy, but I think typically at an academy, you're either playing a sport or you're in physical activity, and so a lot of kids end up playing sports, and they have significant numbers, and so they can cut those scout team guys because they got they're 3 and 4 deep scout team. There'll be 150 guys. I remember the first year we played Army, they kept coming on the field at West Point. They just kept coming and coming and coming and coming. So they got a bunch of bodies. Now they only put 11 out there. But they practice a lot. We're trying to practice. We throw bags at our guys. We've been practicing our offense cuts. Same time, you don't want to lose a guy in practice doing it. So you got to be smart. But we actually try to cut a lot too. That's one of the reasons to help protection. There are things we do to help young offensive linemen. A cut block once in a while is pretty good for pass protection. So everybody cuts. You see it every week. They just do it a whole lot because it's true option. They're doing it almost every play.
Just all in all, just what are the most important things to do with, just to keep in mind when you're playing an offense like this?
Better keep your, you got to play, you got to play physical because they're going to get you to 3rd and 1 and 2s. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1. They're going to run the fullback dive and the quarterback follow like everybody does. And they'll just a lot of times it's 4 downs to get a first down. It's 3 here, 4 here, 3 here, 4th and 1. Let's go for it. Whatever. Of course, 3, 4, 3 is 10, but they're half a yard short. They're going to do a bunch of 3rd and 1, 4th down calls. You better have a guy. They can leverage you with formations to get you whacked up, and at the same time as there being very multiple formations, you better account for the fullback, the quarterback, and the dive. And as you do so, please, if you're a covering guy, don't get your guy off your guy because as soon as you do, they will run right by you and be 40 yards behind you for a wide open pass. And they do it every week. Last week against Central, they go bang, 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 play action wide open. Boom, 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 whether it be inside runs, options, their toss pitch, their misdirections, just traditional good wishbone offense. Boom, 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 play action pass, 2 for 2. I think in Air Force game, they were 6 for 6. So they don't throw it a lot, but when they do, they make money.
Kevin, the last couple of weeks, Navy's used a different quarterback, a freshman. They've shown a little more oomph in their passing attack. Can you talk about that, the problems that presents?
Well, had an injury with the one guy, and one young man came against Air Force and got hot and played really well last week, but they didn't throw it more. When they threw it, he was on target, and I think maybe just whether it be defensive bust or play calls and execution, they executed it. They were basically almost been perfect in the pass game. So you got to give some credit to their offensive coaches because, they're setting up. They'll lull you to sleep, and here it comes, and you got to come support. You got to come support. You got to come support. And it's a crack and go. They're cracking the safety, crack and go. And so it's good football. It's a unique style. They do it well. We've been working on every hands full, but at the same time. We're going to have to play well as a team. They stress your team out. The clock always runs. You get fewer possessions. They kick it well. You play long fields. To win the game, you have to win this game as a team. You will not go in there and win if your team doesn't play well. You cannot have turnovers. You cannot play behind chains. You cannot go 3 and out. And when you have opportunity on defense to get stops, you need to get stops. You can't get 3rd and 6 and let them move the chains. When you get 2 good plays defensively and you can get them into a 3rd and a higher number, you need to get them off the field. And they will run a base play on 3rd and 6, 7. So they won't spread it out and run screens and verticals. They will run, they'll do that, but they'll also do their assignment football. The new quarterback has done well. They can say it's a controversy. The other guy's pretty good. They're like us. They got a couple good guys, and I'm sure their coach feels comfortable with an experienced guy, and they got a very young guy they're excited about, so it's a good deal for them. Tough deal for us.
Happy where you are from a health standpoint after playing 2 really physical teams in back?
Yeah, I think like everybody, we're getting like nicked up and all that deal. And as coaches, you know, one of the comments, I think we're gaining on it. So we're trying to coach our team like a good team, which means we're going to taper some things, but we expect them to practice hard, practice physical, and compete. If they don't, then we will practice like a bad team, and we will work you extremely hard. But because we're getting some great effort and we're doing some things right, it's a time of year about halfway in where instead of going 2:15, you start stealing 5 or 10 minutes and do some things to keep their legs fresh. I think, you know, everybody talks about, you know, time of possession. I told you the night it's 79 plays, 78 plays, and how many times you see us cramping on the field. So there's teams that cramp up and they don't have an IU on their helmet. So our kids are in shape, so we don't have to practice. We don't have to run them hard. Kids have worked hard, and as long as we're going to do that, we're going to take care of them. We're just at a time of year we're a little nicked. You got to manage as a coach. My deal is we're mature enough to manage you like a good team, and you don't lose your stinger, you don't lose your edge, and you got to come out and fly around and tag them. So we'll see as we move forward here.
He was down on the field a couple of times. How's he doing?
He's not practicing. We're going to try to get him going tomorrow. We're trying to quieten down. He just had his shoulder subluxed, and it's kind of a pain deal, and he's out there, and we need to get him going tomorrow to see. But again, we got, you know, Drew Harden back, you know, who was out last week with an unfortunate deal with their family. So, you know, with Heben back there, you know, we'll manage as best, and hopefully we can get Mark going.
What's your philosophy about a non-conference game 7 games in?
You know, personally, you know, if you did it right, I like what some of the other leagues are doing, where you play a conference game earlier in the year. There are certain weeks in the Big Ten where everyone's basically playing 12 games, and if you looked at it, what's the marquee TV matchup that somebody wants at 3:30 or somebody wants at 7 o'clock at night? So I think some of these other leagues, you know, the SEC started, now the Pac-10's doing it, where you're getting some prime time. So, you know, week 2 or week 3, you're playing a conference game. And if you'll notice, all those leagues about week 7, 8, 9, then they play a non-league game. I particularly am not excited about the option. But I think sometimes playing a non-league game in the middle, and especially if you know, we're not there, but if your program is really playing at a high level, you're playing a team not as strong, you can get your young guys a lot of work and keep them excited. You can take some hitting off your old guys. And so if you had the open date scheduled right and you did it right, one, I think early conference games would be exciting for TV and for fans. And then I think when you're kind of hitting that wall, it'd be nice to have a game. Now, again, we're looking to beat anybody, so we're not point of, hey, let's go play so-and-so and it's an easy win. We're looking for wins. But I think, you know, quality teams, you know, we've actually talked about that in the coaches' meetings, but, you know, it's the lead of the Big Ten office, how they want to do things. But there's some things that you can do to market. And outside of this being an option attack, I don't know if I would really be that much against it. And because we're building, we're not overlooking anybody. We got to find wins, and to us, it's the next opportunity, and these opportunities are few, and we need to find some W's.
Close, you're close, but it's not quite happening for your team. How do you build off of being close as opposed to allowing it to be a frustration for your players?
Well, because two things. That's a great question. Because one, we're trying to address it just internally. That to me, people are maybe around here can congratulate you on almost winning, and you know, because we have struggled. And at the same time, that needs to be a sign of confidence. You're getting better. You should feel good about yourself, but you need to keep pushing. I think in most people's lives and whatever their careers are, most people are closer to more things than they realize. Even those that are extremely successful, there's probably a little bit more out there. So we're trying to use it as a total deal that just around the corner, you know, if you keep on coming. I used a line I told my kids the other day to the team. I said, you know, don't start acting like my kids when they were little, and every time you go on somewhere, you know, they say, you know, when are we going to get there? Because that was, I mean, I could, you know, you get it like 20 times, you know, 2 minutes after you just said, you know, how long the trip is. Hey, mommy, daddy, when are we there? And my answer was, we're going to get there when we get there. And that's with this deal, you know, we got to keep going because we're not going to win and we're not going to get there till we get there, and you got to keep going. And so just like my little kids complaining about it, if we stop, we're never going to get there. So quit worrying about it, quit complaining about it. Let's keep going down the road. Let's keep fighting. Let's see if we can get there. That's what we're going to do.
Building on that, can you speak to how the team is handling it, like their mentality going into these next couple of weeks?
Who's handling it?
Going into this next couple of weeks, coming off of these two close but yet tough losses.
Thought we came back last week good and this week pretty good because I think, number one, I think we got some really good seniors, especially with Adam, Will, Larry Black. Those guys playing a lot. Sliger's playing a lot. Charlie Love's playing some. Those five in particular. The seniors have been good. We did a lot with some leadership of some other guys, but those guys, Those guys are practicing extremely hard. I think they're buying and believing everything that we're about. And even though we're short and we keep saying we need to coach better, we also need to block better, tackle better, catch it better, kick it better. And it's a total group effort. And so they're kind of in. And without being negative, they know they're doing well and they have confidence, but they know they can do better, they need to do better, and I think they're hungry. I don't think, we've talked to them, if you're in the Big Ten, you've got to play extremely hard every week. And if that's all you got, to play hard in one game or now to play hard in 2 games, if you can't do it again, you shouldn't be here. And you should consider packing your bags and finding another school, because we're not going to change conferences. The schedule's going to stay reasonably consistent, and you've got to learn to play at a high level week after week after week. I think our seniors have embraced that. Our leaders have embraced that. We're practicing pretty good. I think we're also 2 years into our strength program. We're not quite big enough and strong enough yet, but we're stronger. We're in better shape, and we're just able to work at a better level. And because we're working hard, there's a lot more positive energy on our field. It's disappointing not to get results, but we are coaching them hard that they're coming if they'll keep coming. Now, they got to keep coming, and we got to keep finding ways to motivate them to keep coming. And that's what we're trying to do. And we'll see if, as we move, you never know if you're really good, physical, tough, if you're very competitive. You never know till the end. And you go back at the end of the journey and see what you accomplished. So just because you got close or just because you've made some strides, if you don't keep coming, then you were just a pretender. And you gave a nice try, but you gave in. The really good teams get tougher, stronger, better down the stretch. And as we build, our guys have to embrace that. We'll see if we can. You guys good?